And the fire's still going pretty strong. You might be able to make out some of the smoke and fire crews working up on the side of the hill. Let me show you what is burning. Mulch. When it is hot and tightly compacted, it can spontaneously combust. Right, and the fire chief just told me both fires are considered suspicious. Walk with me a little bit. I'll show you where they were. Both began down this steep canyon here. I should be under 20 feet of water right now. Instead, this is what is left of Folsom Lake, looking more like the surface of the moon. We are seeing a complete 180 decision by Donald Sterling. There's word the embattled LA Clippers owner plans to give up his stake in the team to his wife. Thick bulletproof glass. So was there actually a ghost lurking on the other side, or is the explanation much more down to earth? There are no cows in San Francisco's Bernal Heights neighborhood, so somebody took to tipping cars.
And I said, well, we should put it back. He goes, don't put it back because the owner won't know what happened. And I was like, I am the owner.
4 cars were flipped overnight within 10 blocks of each other, all of them eco-friendly smart cars. 2 on their sides, 1 on the roof, and 1 resting on its bumper facing straight up into the sky. Confusing a compass, creating a local tourist attraction, and ending this rabbit's foot run of good luck. And one witness says he saw the pack of hooded hoodlums in action.
I thought they looked like they were up to no good, and then sure enough, they walk up to this smart car right here, all huddle around it, and then just lift it up and set it on its hind legs.
These smart cars can weigh as little as 1,600 pounds, less than half of your average car, and for a few guys to tip one over, no big deal. This YouTube video shows a group of guys flipping a smart car with ease. Shelley isn't actually the car owner. She was watching it for a friend after her father died. We spoke to her by phone.
What these people don't realize is that, they're adding to the stress of losing, a parent.
So even if all this started as a prank with small cars replacing sleeping cows, no one around here is laughing. And since now it's considered a crime, it really wasn't that smart either.
It's like a needle in a haystack.
Folsom Lake is so dry, treasure hunters now trek the land where fish used to tread water.
Just picked this thing out and decided to knock around and have a little fun.
I should be under 20 feet of water right now. Instead, this is what is left of Folsom Lake, looking more like the surface of the moon. It's below 20% capacity and 50% where it should be this time of year. The lake hasn't been this low since the late 70s, losing 1,700 square feet a day. Drastic measures may be on the horizon for the 500,000 people who drink, bathe, and water lawns from the lake's supply.
Our board will be considering a plan for implementing significant rationing if we don't get rain.
In the town of Folsom, mandatory 20% restrictions are now in place. Residents forced to let green grass go brown and water houseplants very carefully.
I'm very concerned just because, I've never gone through that.
Try to keep the trees alive, but that's mostly the lawn, I think, is probably the biggest consumer of water for my house.
Yeah. Water experts say Folsom Lake is on track to reach its lowest levels ever. A lake bed so dry it's picked for hidden treasure, with the true treasure of rain still nowhere in sight. Brian Webb, KPIX 5. The letter arrived at its Point Richmond address 67 years after it was sent.
It's been referred to as the mystery letter because we just can't figure out where it has been for 67 years.
It's now in the hands of Mildred Dornan,
but as clearly as I know how to say it,
president of the Point Richmond History Association. But it was meant for Mrs. Agnes R. Smith, written by former Navy Secretary James Forrestal, dated February 5th, 1946.
The Navy's pride in you, which it is my privilege to express, to reach into your civil life and to remain with you always.
The problem is Agnes Smith no longer lives at this house on Oregon Street, and nobody seems to know where she went, who she is, or even if she's still alive. Where the letter has been for so long is a mystery, and it never says what Agnes did for the Navy around the time of World War II to earn the praise of a top military commander.
I would hope that somewhere that she's found, and so she can get this letter.
So until Agnes R. Smith or her family comes to claim the letter, it will remain part of Point Richmond's history. A lost letter finally found, but one that never truly made it home. Brian Webb, KPIX 5. Two loud bangs rang out in the Diamond District neighborhood, a door being kicked in and a gun being fired.
Do you see the hole?
Both startled Garrick Chin at the house next door.
I thought maybe somebody was delivering a phone book. It was a loud thump.
Oakland police tell me it happened just after 10 a.m. A man forced his way through the front door in a broad daylight home invasion. Inside, he encountered the 81-year-old woman who lives here, shot her, then ran away.
We have more kick-ins of the guys coming from the flats up into the hills, and they talk to each other, and they know it's an easy target.
The bullet went through the victim's shoulder, through her wall, then through the neighbor's fence, hit the neighbor's house, and then the bullet fell to the ground. That's scary stuff.
It is, very much.
Police won't say what the bad guy got away with, if anything, or if he had help committing the crime.
I'm lucky it wasn't my house that was hit.
The last thing Garrick Chin heard was the screeching of tires from a car speeding away, leaving him with a sense of relief it was over and a bullet hole that hit too close to home.
Welcome back, you guys. Welcome back.
More than 1 million tourists visit Alcatraz every year. A lucky few claim they see something extra special, a ghost.
I did not see any ghosts. I've heard rumor of ghosts. I did not see any.
A British couple snapped this eerie photo of what looks like a ghostly turn-of-the-century woman staring straight at the camera. The couple completely believes it was a spirit. Other tourists say, well, maybe.
Well, possibly. I don't know of how many 1900 women were on Alcatraz, but, I don't know.
That picture was taken in the old visitation area of the prison. Criminals on one side, their visitors on the other, separated by thick, bulletproof glass. So was there actually a ghost lurking on the other side, or is the explanation much more down to earth? What do you think it is?
Shadows.
Shadows. We caught up to former Alcatraz prison guard George DiVincenzi for the Inside Scoop. He worked on the rock for 8 years during the late 1950s. In your experience, were there ever any ghosts out there?
No.
Nothing.
Well, personally, I don't believe in ghosts.
But that's such a great place for a ghost story.
Yes, I imagine.
In its 29 years as a federal prison, there were 8 murders on Alcatraz, 0 executions, and nobody was buried there. But still, the island's history is rich with ghost stories.
It's possible. But how do we know for sure?
And that's the thing about ghosts. What you can prove is less important than what you believe. Brian Webb, KPIX 5. Developing news out of Santa Barbara, where police say a drive-by shooter went on a rampage near the UC Santa Barbara campus. 7 people are dead. Last night in the area of Isla Vista neighborhood was sprayed with bullets. It's an area known for numerous student parties. The sheriff believes the suspect was acting alone. He is among the dead, and another 7 people are hurt. Authorities still trying to establish a motive. Witnesses describe the scene as chaotic, and it came out of nowhere.
I think one girl was shot dead. The other girl was shot as well, but I think she's at the hospital. First time I saw it, I just ran away from my life, so I don't know any details.
Police say the suspected shooter exchanged gunfire with deputies before crashing into a parked car. It's not clear whether he was hit by the gunfire or died from self-inflicted wound. One of the main defendants in the corruption scandal involving State Senator Leland Yee is getting an unusual show of support. KPIX 5's Kristen Ayers shows us a fundraiser to free the man known as Shrimp Boy. Chow is still in federal custody. His attorneys say they'll be asking for a bail hearing in the next few weeks. He died more than a year ago, but were left at the county morgue. As Stacey Butler reports, those vets should have been buried, but instead were forgotten. The LA County morgue blames the VA for the oversight. A VA spokesperson says the morgue never contacted them about the issue. A Bay Area man is paying the price for having a popular name. On the Consumer Watch, Julie Watt shows us how a case of mistaken identity led to some major tax trouble. Smith has had some other troubling times with his name. He's had wages garnished for someone else's back child support, and he was arrested and put in the back of a cop car until police pulled a mugshot proving his innocence. If you have a consumer problem, go to KPIX.com and send us an email. An ex-Oakland cop is under investigation. He's been collecting thousands of dollars in disability. At the same time, he's been performing dangerous and physically demanding work for the FBI. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver says he has the support of the required 3/4 team owners to force Sterling to sell.
People who can afford a $10 million yacht in the first place are probably doing all right.
All right.
You could probably get a second one.
Hopefully they salvage the champagne.
Yeah,
They're gonna
that would
need
make
it.
them feel a little better. Well, thanks for